Welcome everyone to an exciting battle at the Super Rapid and Blitz in Warsaw, Poland, as we see the finance minister of Poland, Andrzej Domanski, who's here to make the first move between Gukesh and Fabiano Caruana. A very important and exciting encounter. Gukesh and Fabi have this very interesting rivalry between them. Gukesh does win most of their rapid games, but Fabi, well, in Blitz, he has the upper hand. Knight to c3, knight f6. We have the Sicilian played here, and Gukesh does not play d4. He's not playing the open Sicilian because he wants Fabi maybe to commit his knight to c6 before d4 so that there's no knight off now. Very interesting. Knight takes d4, e5 played, and Gukesh comes back to f3. It's 5 minutes plus 3 seconds increment. The rapid game went to Gukesh, while the first blitz game went to Fabi. Now this is the second blitz game in this tournament. Bishop comes to e6. You have rook e1. Just calmly defending the e4 pawn. The bishop drops back. And you are already ready to jump in with knight to d5. Gukesh is well prepared. You can see he has 5 minutes, 5 seconds, while Fabi is thinking over here. And I think a moment to think, because you want to castle, you don't want to castle. He castles and Gukesh jumps in with his knight to d5. Will Fabi capture the knight on d5? Of course you can't do it with your knight, because then it's like you lose a piece. But can you do it with your bishop? Because then the knight has to move. Knight b4, c4. It somehow doesn't feel like the right direction to go into. So he goes queen d7. And Gukesh simply plays h3, stopping bishop g4 pin. We have rook to c8, putting the rook on the open file, and c4, strengthening the knight. The bishop comes to d8. One of the ideas is to put the bishop on this beautiful diagonal here. And maybe then b3, bishop b2, calmly trying to play the position. I think Gukesh is thinking whether to put his bishop on b2 or should he put it on d2. e3 is not possible because the e4 pawn is hanging. I think it's a good moment for Gukesh to think, because until now it seemed like his preparation, he had 5 minutes, 5 seconds, and now you have many possibilities here. So one thing to notice, by the way, bishop d2 played and Fabi takes it. He takes on d5. I guess cd5 really gives white an amazing position. I mean, positionally, white is so happy because knight e7, he has the bishop pair. Look at these two bishops. He has the space. I mean, the only thing in Fabi's favor is perhaps the fact that the dark squares are very well represented. For example, if you play a5, bishop b6, I have a5, and suddenly the bishop does not have too many good squares. So knight g6, a5. Gukesh taking away space. And what I love about Gukesh's play is the speed at which he's making his moves. He's feeling very confident. And I think Gukesh is all the time trying to improve certain things in his play. He realizes he's not a great blitz player, but with these experiences, he can improve. Okay, do you want to trade queens? Queen a4. He goes queen b3. He puts pressure on b7. And maybe prepares bishop to b5. I guess Fabi wants to trade off pieces, knight to g5. Imagine a scenario like this. This, I think, would be happy trades for black, because low on space, you're left with a knight against bishop. Although even in this position, the engine assesses it as clearly better for white. Fabi goes a6. And this is, well, on one hand, you do stop pieces from coming to b5, but it weakens the b6 square. Imagine a bishop sitting here, or imagine a knight swiveling over to the b6 square. Such moves should instantly raise an antenna if you are the white player, that okay, the b6 square is weakened now, which clearly Gukesh will have on his radar. He just needs to decide where to go with this bishop, to e3, to b4. Many possibilities. There's also a possibility to trade queens with queen a4, to take the open c file with rook e c1. These are all the possible options. And that is why Gukesh is taking time here. But such positions, sometimes you just have to play on your intuition. You can't really find the precise ways to play. Rook c1, he brings the other rook, and I think he sees that the pawn on a5 is well defended for now, so I don't need to worry about it. Bishop comes to e7, and now pawn to g3 played. Well, just simply improving the position here. Pawn comes up to g3. The knight comes to f6. And this is something like Fabi is just saying, like, I don't know what I am doing here, but I'm just bringing my pieces back to good squares. You do something, Gukesh, so I'll get my chances. King g2, improving the position of the king. Rook takes rook. Bishop takes, because if you had taken with the rook, then this was hanging. So bishop c1, now Fabi gets the open file. You have bishop to d3 defending the pawn. Gukesh has kept his advantage in the position. I do feel a bit scared for this king. Imagine a knight comes to h5 and then another knight jumps into f4. You sacrifice a piece. For now, white has enough control here. But these are the kinds of positions that can really explode in a blitz game. While in a classical game, this would be dream position for white. In blitz, it's not 100% clear yet. This time it's Fabi's turn now to think for the next bit of plan, because Gukesh has given the chance to him to decide what to do. Okay, one plan that I can think of is knight e8, knight c7, knight b5. I mean, not the best of the routes for the knight. Wonder what it does there, but still a possibility. This knight is kind of dominated by the pawn on g3, and one could think you can improve it. But on the other hand, this knight anyway is hoping to sacrifice itself for some counterplay. Fabi goes queen c7. He takes control of the c file, but also prepares knight d7, knight c5. Oh, knight f8. Oh, he's going with the other knight to c5. That's interesting. Can we go rook c1 here? Is the question. I think it's possible to go rook c1 and attack the queen. Queen b6. How good is that move to trade queens? Maybe not, because after knight d7, this pawn could become a very big weakness with bishop d8 as well. So don't rush into it. Queen a3. Gukesh is freeing up his b pawn to rush down the board. He stops knight c5. Again, great positional play by Gukesh here. He has extra time, a good position. He should be able to beat Fabi here. Queen d8. Rook to c1. Maybe trade the rooks? I don't know. It's a tough call whether to trade pieces or not. I think the knight on f3 is not doing a great job. So this is how top players think in such positions. Like, should I trade? Should I not trade? He goes rook c1. I was also wondering if he could improve the knight somehow. I don't know from where, but queen takes c1. Takes now the open file. Knight e8. Well, trading queens would be really, really bad, I feel. Somehow these pawns are weak. Maybe bishop e3. And yes, this knight can come from d2 to c4 to b6. So queen c7. If you trade, I feel like this endgame is really better for white. So maybe Fabi should not trade queens. He goes knight c7 and h4 played, taking away the g5 square, so that bishop g5 is not possible. Knight goes back to e8. Quickly, Fabi sees that the g4 square has opened up. This is why top players are really tricky players. Now knight f6 to come to g4. But then Gukesh can play f3. He goes knight f6. f3 seems like a nice idea. He goes bishop e2, which I understand, because f3 does weaken the second rank. At some point, you don't want that weakness to exist. So bishop e2 stops knight g4 for the time being, keeps everything controlled. But you want to move with your knight, and the e4 pawn is hanging. So first he defends e4. He also lines up the queen against the king. Queen b8, and now can we go knight c4? I think it's possible to go knight c4, but you would be a bit afraid of this pin that could happen with queen c7. Gukesh goes knight to b3. Interesting. What is the knight doing on b3? That is a question. I mean, clearly we all could understand the knight going to b6, but from b3, is he trying to just defend a5 and is trying for the b5 break? Oh, he does it. He plays b5. I don't know if that helped white particularly. Because now suddenly Fabi seems to have gotten a small attack piece to a pawn to attack on a5. f3 played. So the move that Gukesh didn't want to make, he finally decides to make it. He says, okay, I'll play this move f3. I understand my king is a bit exposed, but look at your pieces. None of your pieces are near my king. I'm happy with what I have. Knight g6. Fabi is such a tricky player. He has gotten both his knights in a way where he's really putting pressure on the white king. Okay, knight d2. Gukesh going to c4. This has clearly been a game where Gukesh has been putting pressure on Fabi, and Fabi is trying his best to create his chances. Again, wow. Okay, queen, bishop comes in, and I think Gukesh is hoping to trade queens at the right moment. If he can protect this pawn and trade queens, this would become a weakness. There's no attack, it would be winning. So bishop c7, avoiding that trade. Maybe bishop g4 to kick the knight away, because this knight is really a pesky creature. Gukesh goes bishop b6. Not the best idea, I must say, but I do get what he wants to do. Take, and then queen c8, and he wants to trade. Knight e7, stopping queen c8 and preparing queen a8 to come in. Now the game gets super exciting with both players down under a minute. Gukesh has roughly 40 seconds, Fabi has 30 seconds, and queen c8 has been stopped. This is the moment where, you start losing your bearings, because you know that you've played well, but you don't have enough time to control everything. Queen c7, queen a8. Fabi is like, take my pawn. I'll save my knight now. Knight g6, very important move. It's a very key, critical moment in the game. And Fabi plays it. Now the queen is entering here. All of a sudden, Gukesh's position looks bad. Queen c5, queen f2. I think that's a good maneuver to get the queen back. But he goes queen b4, and Fabi instantly comes to a1 with two knights lurking and the queen. Oh my goodness. And Gukesh down to 20 seconds. This is getting mind-numbing for Gukesh. His position is bad. He needs to play queen b1. He blunders knight f1. Can Fabi find knight takes g3? What a move. If king takes, you lose f1. If knight takes, knight f4 check leads to a mating attack. He takes it. Look at Caruana there. He knows it. He knows that he's managed to outwit Gukesh. Boom, takes the knight. And now all of a sudden this entire positional play has been, rendered useless, because complete domination of the knight and the queen. We all know how strong the knight and queen are. g6 taking away the square from the king. Queen g2 check is coming, and Gukesh resigns. What a battle this was. What an amazing battle. Look at Fabi. He knows that he dodged a bullet there. Gukesh played incredibly well for close to 45 moves, but those last 3 moves, Fabi clutched it and showed why Blitz chess is so exciting.